I want to show you how much fun it is to make butter. Years ago, people probably churned the butter. This is an old-fashioned churner. And they went around like this. Now you could also use electric beater to make the butter, but I don't like to clean all the butter off when I'm finished. So I prefer to put the cream into a little jar. Now I took the cream out of the refrigerator early this morning because it's better if the cream is not real cold. Okay, so we put the cream into the jar. I'm just going to use half of it so that it doesn't take so long. You can, the more cream you have, the longer it takes to shake it. Put the cover on well and start shaking it. And you have to shake it for quite a while. And that's why it's nice. You can surely do this by yourself, but it's a wonderful family experience. So everybody in the family can take turns shaking, or you can do it with some friends. We have to shake it until we don't see any cream, and we start seeing it getting to be a little ball of butter. It didn't take all that long. It helped that the butter was a little bit warmer, because I tried to see if there's any water coming out of it. And I don't see any water, because milk is a mixture of water and cream. So I'm going to put it into a bowl now. Don't want to waste any of it, do we?
No.
So I'll try to get out as much as I can. Then I put it into a bowl and knead it. It's called kneading, like you knead bread. It's spelled K-N-E-A-D, kneading it. And that helps to get more of the butter out. Just for fun, I brought along an apron I made in high school. So I thought you'd enjoy that.
How old is that apron, Rosemary?
How old is it? 10 it's about some 70 years old.
It looks pretty good.
Actually, it was made from feed sacks.
Ah.
The feed came in colored sacks.
Oh, very nice.
Going back to our job.
Okay.
Now, kneading it goes like this. And you could add ice to make it, the kneading go a little bit faster. If some water comes out, which I don't see any water coming out, which means we did a pretty good job of shaking it.
Good.
I would put the water, if there's water, in another jar like this.
Okay.
And then that's really called whey, and that's spelled W-H-E-Y, a mixture of butter and water. Now I see some water coming out.
Oh, yeah.
You see the water? So we'll put that in that separate jar. And this whey can be used to make pancakes or any kind of baking. Now, it's very interesting. How do you think butter got discovered? How did we discover making butter? Thousands and thousands of years, when people didn't live like we live, they had animals like sheep and goats, and maybe they traveled by camels. And the camels, you know, there are some female camels. They would milk the camel, or they milk their sheep and goats so they have some milk to drink. Once in a while there was some milk left over. So they would put the leftover milk into a leather bag and attach it to the animal, the sheep or the camel, and they would keep on going. And what was happening to that little leftover milk was shaking as they moved along, shaking and shaking and shaking like we just did. And so when they stopped again, they discovered that they had something that we would call butter. They called it cow's cheese.
Huh.
So I think that's how it got discovered. Oh, we're getting some nice butter. And you really want to do this well. People think just the shaking is necessary, but this kneading is very important if you're going to have good butter. Otherwise, you're going to have watery butter.
Okay.
So your family can take turns, if you're doing it with a family, in kneading it too. Now, you can have different flavors of butter, which you usually can't. Usually when we buy butter, it's always just plain butter.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a little herb garden, and I brought along a sampling of herbs. And today, well, I'll show you the herbs first. This is sage, and sage butter would be very good if you had turkey or a chicken. This is dill. And do enjoy the aroma of each herb.
Yeah.
This is mint. Could have mint butter. Ah, this is basil. Who doesn't love basil? Parsley. Oh, my favorite. Rosemary. It looks and smells a little bit like evergreens. Now this, I'll reuse this when I make some mashed potatoes for the rest of my family on Sunday. I'll reuse all of these herbs. And the last one I wanted to show you is chives. And that's kind of general, like has an onion flavor or taste.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to add to our butter today. We'll have chives butter. Has to be pretty fine. The green is a nice contrasting color too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'll probably be enough for this small amount of butter. Can mix that in. Now, it will taste a little bit like onions or chives. But if you leave it there, if you wait with your butter until another day or so, it'll taste even better.
Mhm.
A pinch of salt, thanks. Don't forget a little pinch of salt. We mix it in well. Now I could have made a lot more butter, but I didn't. It would take too long.
Yeah.
I have a little butter knife here. Okay. I wish you could taste it.
Thank you, Rosemary.
And good luck.